Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and today I have a ranked monsters deck for you guys. And that is a variant on Freddybabes Harpy Consume that he ran during the Gwent Open, and I am having so much fun with this deck. This deck is really, really fun to play. It's really enjoyable, and it's also, I think, pretty strong, like surprisingly strong. So the gist of this deck is that we have, unsurprisingly, Woodland Spirit and Harpies. And Woodland Spirit, when you play him, he spawns 3 Rabid Wolves and applies a Fog Hazard to the opposite row. And Rabid Wolves are a 1 strength beast. Now, if we play Woodland Spirit, not only does it thin this Foglet out of our deck, it spawns these 3 wolves. And if you use Unseen Elder, you can then eat all 3 of those wolves on the next turn. And you might think, why do you want to eat wolves? Well, if you eat wolves, then what you've effectively done is that you've destroyed a beast ally during your turn, and that will cause these Harpies to then also be thinned from the deck. So then you get 3 Harpies thinned out of the deck as well. And it's a huge amount of tempo, because these also then damage the lowest enemy by 1. On top of those consumes, you've then buffed your Nekkers, which are in your deck, by 1 point per consume, so these guys are starting to get buffed up. Then on top of that, we have the Seleno Harpy Ekimmara combo, so we can play the Seleno Harpy, and that spawns Harpy eggs, and if you eat a Harpy egg, then you actually boost the unit by an additional 4, so we can then Ekimmara and eat the eggs. And if it happens to be that we don't find Woodland Spirit, if we have Seleno Harpy, Seleno Harpy is a beast, and also Harpy eggs, when they pop, they become Harpy hatchlings, and Harpy hatchlings are beasts. So you can often thin your Harpies that way if you don't happen to find Woodland Spirit. So those are more consumes. Then on top of that, we have Kayran, consume a unit with 6 or less power. If there's no eligible unit, boost self by 8. We have Gales, which will help us find Woodland Spirit should we need it. So Gales will obviously look at the top of the top gold card and top silver from your deck, and you play 1. It also improves your draws. We have Muzzle, because Muzzle is just very good. Although I guess you could run Restore or Renew or Commander's Horn, not Commander's Horn, Royal Decree, if you felt like you needed more consistency. But I quite like Muzzle. Then on top of that, we have the Giant Toad, or sorry, Toad Prince. It used to be called Giant Toad. Manticore combo. Draw the top card from your deck, then consume a card in your hand. If it's special card, boost off by 5. So you can use Toad Prince to consume the Imperial Manticore, and that puts Imperial Manticore in the graveyard. And then we have a Ghoul, consume a bronze or silver unit from your graveyard. So we can use this Ghoul to then eat the Manticore again and gain points. We also have Monster's Nest, which gives us a second Ghoul. Alternatively, should we need it, then we have a Drowner that we can use to move units. We could have an Arrakis Behemoth if we have a lot of eats, or we have Ancient Foglet should we end up having a lot of fog. But ultimately, this is typically used for Ghoul. We have Dorogaray, which will give us a Savage Bear, Wyvern, Ekimmara, or Drowner. So again, we have the option of a Drowner. And alternatively, we can just get an extra Ekimmara, which is always nice. We have Cleaver for lock. You could run Morvard, but I quite like Cleaver because typically you want this to unlock your own Nekkers. You're not usually resetting units, and this way you have more points on the body if you do happen to need to unlock your Nekkers. Saying that, you know, if you find yourself going up against spies a lot, this is easily a card that you can switch out for Morvard. But also this gives you a bigger target in your graveyard, so it synergizes better with your ghouls. We have First Light in case there is weather. And we have Frightener in order to gain card advantage and also move a unit. And yeah, that's more or less it with the deck. It is actually, I think, really powerful. And if you like this deck, do hit that thumbs up button, guys. But without further ado, I'll jump into a ranked game and I'll showcase this deck in action for you.
Patience is not a virtue I am known to have.
Nat's tie cellmate tower.
Okay, so we're up against Ekimmara. And this deck you have to be a little bit careful with because you can draw very badly. It doesn't happen particularly often, but you could draw 3 Nekkers, 3 Harpies, and a Foglet. And, you know, if that happens, your life isn't very happy. I'm going to mulligan the Harpy first, that blacklists it. Against Ekimmara, we have to be a little bit worried about Peter, so you can choose to hold both Nekkers if you want to. We'll get rid of First Light, because typically they don't play weather. Harpy, Ekimmara, Gales, Kayran. We can guarantee Woodland Spirit with Gales, so that's really good. I'm just wondering if we hold on to a Nekker or not. I'm thinking we can probably afford to mulligan a Nekker. Because we don't typically play them round 1 anyway. I like to aim for that. Okay, so he can see our Frightener. Now, this is risky because he can set that to 1 value, but if he sets that to 1 value, it just means that we're only giving him 1 point, so that's not really good for him. So what we're going to do here is we're going to Gales, and we're going to play Woodland Spirit, and we see Cleaver is now on top of our deck, which means if we play Toad Prince, we'll draw Cleaver. And then we fog the middle row. And it's always important to remember with Woodland Spirit, you got to play him on the row that you want to weather. Because Wild Hunt Hounds and Dagon you don't do that with, so sometimes like I can mess up just because I'm thinking I'll play it wherever, and then everything will be fine.
I'm no mage.
Is this a mere reveal? This is a mere reveal. Okay. So here what we want to do now is we're going to thin our Harpies. So this is the kind of beginning strategy with this deck, is that you do this. And the risk is he's seen my Nekker, and because he's seen my Nekker, he knows that he can reset it with the new Nilfgaard unit should he wish to. But you can see the kind of tempo swing there. We're now 27 to 24. We've got a lot of points going on.
Greetings.
Yeah, this is reveal Emir. This is such a strange decision. Interesting, but strange. So he's slowly but surely revealing all of my cards. I'm going to play the Harpy now. I want to play the Harpy so that I can eat the eggs with the Ekimmara. Like, this round is all about building up carryover and also buffing up your Nekkers, because if they muzzle it, then you... well, you want to make it basically 11 points so they can't muzzle it. The other thing we can try and do here is we can try and damage this, and if we damage this enough, we can actually muzzle it, which is a great play. And this is why Monster's Nest comes in handy, because what we can do here, although we also have Cleaver, remember, with the Toad Prince, so we have to be aware of that now. But what we can do is, I believe this will do 4 damage, which is enough. We play Monster's Nest, we play Drowner, middle row, and because this has a hazard, then when we move the unit, it takes 4 damage. So there we go, it's now a 7, which means that now it is a muzzle target, which means if we muzzle it, then we'll get points on the top of our deck. So what he's going to have to do here is he's going to have to destroy it himself, pick it up with Emir, or muzzle it back, or pass. But for me, if I'm playing and someone does that to my Guardian, then that tells me that they want to muzzle it. So that's worth being aware of.
I shall be your eyes, my lord.
So there's Cantarella, and typically if you see the opponent play Cantarella, then what you're going to want to do is play your Spy in return in order to kind of maintain card advantage. But we can always play the Spy on the next round, and this way what we do is we make it so that the Guardian play actually is going to mess up him, and we can actually guarantee this happening by eating it. If we eat it, that kills it, and that puts the poor cards on the top of our opponent's deck. So you can see he's opted to pass here, and we've managed to brick his mulligan with his own card. Very strange deck being run by this Emir. You know, I thought it would be Spies, and it's just some kind of reveal thing. We're going to draw Cleaver. We knew we were going to draw Cleaver. And an Ekimmara. And Ekimmaras are good for carryover, but we don't have a lot of great consume targets, so it may be worth actually mulliganing one of these and trying to find some Harpies instead. Although we do have Frightener, so we have that option. There's nothing really bad in the deck to draw other than Nekkers. I think I'm going to leave it though. I think we'll stick with this for now, because setting up carryover is always worthwhile in this deck. At the moment, like, these, we don't have any units to eat to make these above 8, and this guy's not above 8, so for now I'm going to want to play Frightener. And we'll draw a card. We drew a Nekker. It's just, like, unfortunate, but I think we can kind of make do with it. We also are able to draw a card with Toad Prince, but if we do that, we have to eat something. We can eat Cleaver, and that's okay. It just depends on whether we feel like we're going to need to lock targets. Oh, he has Lesser Guardian. So he's just picked up my Spy. But the thing is, he has to win 2 rounds, so having that Spy in hand isn't as useful as he's kind of making out to be. We can K-Ran now. We have a good target. He's not likely to play Enforcers or anything like that, where we'd want to stop them. So we're just going to eat his Lesser Guardian and take the points. And potentially we could look for a 2-0 here. And actually he's chosen not to mulligan any of the Lesser Guardians, which means we really messed up his draw in that situation. We'll play the Toad Prince. And we got a Harpy. Harpy's good to have. We could eat Ekimmaras, but because we have eggs, I'm thinking that we're going to eat the Cleaver instead. And this is why you run Cleaver instead of Morvud, because it's a bigger unit, and then we've put that in the graveyard for Ghoul. Ideally, you want to eat Imperial Manticore, but that's not always going to happen. So an Alchemy card. I guess that was Ale. Mahakam Ale. There you go. Interesting. Interesting strategies. So we have options in terms of what we eat. But first, what we want to do is get these eggs out, and then we'll eat them with the Ekimmara. And then we should have a decent amount of carryover in this situation. You know, we can eat the eggs and gain points, and then that's also more carryover. And that also then buffs our Nekkers, and once our Nekkers are a bit stronger, we're going to be in quite a comfortable position in terms of avoiding the muzzle.
Tell me what you've got.
So he's going to overdose me. Come on, not one egg. Not one egg. Oh, man. It's okay. So we can still play this, though, and eat this Soleno Harpy instead. That gives us 9 points there, so then can't be muzzled. It can, however, be assassinated. Huh. He really wants this round. I mean, 13 to 17. We have options for carryover. I'm just a little bit worried about Peter, because if he has Peter, he can kind of reset my units. We'll play the Nekker for now and see what he does in, like, response to that. Because if he has locks, what he'll do is he'll lock these two. He's got Kahir.
Up to it.
So he is. So he's going to make me discard one. But so we have one Nekker in hand. So actually this is okay. He can, like I say, make me discard cards. But we don't really have much left in the deck that's of high value. And he does have a 12-point card in hand. We have to remember that. So that's not great for him either. We're going to go with the Ghoul. This is a tempo play. And another Consume. And we're going to eat the... Oh, I forgot about the Guardian. Let's eat the Guardian. See, that's even more value there because we took it from him. So that's a huge buff there. 15 points plus our Nekker. Which is a really nice play. There's Frightener. I guess he's setting this up for Igni. The thing is, at the moment, his Igni is only worth 15, right? It really depends on what he drew, as to what kind of value he has. I don't think he has Muzzle. I feel like he would have played it if he had it. So I'm feeling like confident to just eat a 1 with this Ekimmara. I mean, the alternative is we eat something from this row, and if we eat something from this row, we lower the value of the row. The question is, you know, maybe if he has Dimmeritian Bomb, that would be kind of problematic for us. Or Scorch. At the moment, his Scorch hits a 15. So this would make a 16 for his Scorch if we eat a 10. This is kind of what you have to think. I think I'm just going to eat the Nekker. And give myself, you know, a bit more carryover.
Of course, as you wish, master.
So, how far ahead are we? 48 to 60. 12 points ahead. Can he catch us with one card? No. The answer is no. I was just deciding whether to 2-0. That's the point where you decide whether you think they can catch up with one card. I mean, we did have 2 6s. Actually, no, a 6 and a 1 in carryover. So we had 7 points of carryover. So passing there would have actually been quite comfortable. But that's the deck. Weird opponent. Sometimes you do get weird decks, even, you know, at about 3,500 MMR. You do kind of get crazy decks. As we climb more, hopefully the decks will become a bit more consistent. But yeah, I'm going to jump into another game now, and I'll showcase this deck in action once more for you.
There is but one punishment for traitors.
The gate must be secure.
Okay, so we have Ekimmara again. I wonder if it's going to be spies this time. Good enough hand. You know, so long as you don't draw too many brick cards, you're okay. We'll mulligan a Harpy. We got Giels. Giels will give us Woodland Spirit or Kiren, so we don't have a guaranteed Woodland Spirit at the moment. We'll mulligan the other Harpy. And we have to decide whether we want 2 Nekkers or not. If we mulligan a Nekker, we risk drawing Foglet. Which is kind of a problem. But it could be okay. But it could also not be okay. So I'm not entirely sure what the best plan of action is here. Maybe we mulligan, maybe we don't. Do we take a risk? Do we take a risk? Let's take a risk. Not a Foglet. The other thing is they can't Peter your Nekker, and that banishes it. So that's the other risk with Ekimmara, is sometimes it's better to hold 2.
No time.
If not by strength, then by stealth.
So, if we play Giels, we might draw Kiren, and at the moment we don't have a Kiren target. So, at the moment I'm just going to leave it. Basically, we can take the risk and try and Giels for Woodland Spirit. Alternatively, if we play eggs, and he plays an Imperial Enforcer, he's likely to shoot the eggs. And if he shoots the eggs, that actually sets us up for Harpies, which is really good. So he'll shoot... Oh, that was an idiot. That was a dumb move. So he should have shot something else before he shot the Emissary, because the Emissary he just played as a spy. And this guy, when he deploys, he damages an enemy by 2, and then if there's a spy played, he damages again. But because he shot the spy that would have triggered the damage again, he doesn't get the extra damage, which is a little bit costly. So this is a good Kiran target, so I'm actually quite comfortable at this stage now playing Giels. And if we get Kiran, we get Kiran. If we get Woodland Spirit, oh, and we're going to draw into Doragure, which is nice. We will fog the back row, because I do not want to deal with Imperial Enforcer. And this then gives us these hounds that we can eat, so we've got lots of targets. We've thinned our Foglet. And this means that we can actually eat the eggs with the Ekimmaras, and it's quite safe to do that.
Highly curious case.
So he is going to shoot something. I'd imagine he'll shoot the egg.
Your humble
And the egg. The thing is, because it's fog, he can just protect the unit by playing fog. Which is a little bit unfortunate. The thing is, no matter what he shoots, we'll have enough units that we can spam out the Harpies. And actually, we're going to kill this and this if we choose to make this play, which we will. So, out you go. And then 1 beast. We could actually also eat the Harpy hatchlings. 2 beasts. And 3 beasts. I mean, I could have chosen to eat the Solano Harpy and left a 1 strength unit on every row, just to protect against, that would protect against Rot Tossers, but Rot Tossers isn't very standard, so, you know, I feel like we're okay here. And we have a second Solano Harpy, we can get that set up with Ekimmara,
No door
so that's good.
is closed to me.
And the thing is, because we didn't eat anything too big, you know, even if he does assassinate this, it's not really the end of the world. I probably should have locked this. I'm wondering if it's worth locking it now. If we lock it now, then he no longer gets value from it. The other thing we could do is play Frightener and draw a card, because that will put us on even because of the fog. And we can then put this into the fog, which isn't a bad call. Because by putting this in the fog, we've then maintained fog value. And this means that we're, you know, even points with 1 card ahead. He can pick up the Spy with the Mirror, but, you know, it's a risky strategy. Typically, you don't want to do that. Typically, you want to pick up an emissary, Selak, and replay him. And if he does pick it up, it still leaves this guy in the fog. So I think we still get a net gain there. And we knew what we were going to draw into, so I didn't have to worry about drawing Nekkers, for example. And then if he wants to pass, we can just play an Ekimmara and get carryover.
I am sadness.
So I can lock Iris. I do have a cleaver, so let's play cleaver. Just lock that so that he doesn't get the benefits from it. And this puts us ahead as well. And now we're starting to see the fog tick. So it's all good, because if he wants to play Iris, he's going to have to unlock her, and then after he unlocks her, he's going to have to buff her. The other thing you can do, this is actually quite tactical, is you eat the spies like Cantarella, because then he doesn't get good Menno targets. So if we eat this, it denies him a Menno target. It does mean that, you know, there's a 17 value target, which is good for him, but ultimately, the more of the spies that we can eat, the kind of happier we'll be. The only thing we have here is we didn't set up a lot of carryover, but because we're on even cards, we can just play into the next round and set up our carryover then. And, you know, it's not going to be very good for our opponent because he's not in control of this game, we are. And we had 6 carryovers, so it's okay. Okay, so we have 2 Ekimmaras and a Solano Harpy and Doragore, actually. We'll mulligan the first light into a Nekker. 2 Nekkers is all right, because we're only going to pull 1 on the next round anyway. We can also Toad Prince, but Toad Prince is a little risky because the way the Nekkers work, you know, if we draw into another Nekker, then that's going to stop our carryover. Do I have a way I can damage this enough? If I play Doragore, I think I only deal 2 damage, right? Although Wyvern does 3. If I do 3 damage, then it's muzzleable. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I wonder if he'll see this coming. And then we can eat it.
What do you need me to do?
Which is quite nice. Oh man, so many Guardians to steal. I'll borrow that. Thanks. My Guardian now. And we can guarantee its trigger by, like I said, eating it with the Ekimmara. So that's pretty good. He doesn't have muzzle, otherwise he would have taken it straight back. But if we're worried that he does, then what we can do
The North
is...
shall tuck tail and beg for mercy.
If we're worried that he does, what we can do is just eat it.
I cast myself upon thy mercy.
So the question is, do we think he's going to take it back? I think if he had muzzle, he would have taken it back straight away. So then we maybe eat it. Alternatively, we eat an egg, which gives us more points this round.
Discipline.
But
That is what you
in the
thought
grand
black.
scheme of things, is maybe not as powerful. I think we eat it, right? Because he's kind of guaranteed what's on top of his deck with Stefan. So he's going to get what he wants in his... Well, he's going to get what he wants in the next round. The problem is we don't want him to put this on the top of our deck. So we have to kind of make a decision of whether we eat it or not. As it is, I think I'm just going to eat an egg. I don't think that he has muzzle. I think he would have played it. If he had it. 42 to 27.
My son has erred.
There's
Your
another
humble
emissary.
servant.
And he could have guaranteed the bronze that he drew here. That's definitely something that he could have done. Because he can guarantee the bronze that he draws with Stefan, as I said. So let's just keep eating eggs. We're safe from Scorch because of the Imperial Brigade. So I'm kind of okay to just get these points. And again, we've buffed our Nekkers. They're now 9 points apiece. And because they're 9 points apiece, I'm now kind of comfortable playing them without fear of muzzle. Although as it is, I wasn't really scared of muzzle anyway. So it's all good. And there goes the Nekker. This is where if he has Swears, you know, they play Swears. But because we have 2 in hand, you know, we have that protection. We maybe don't get the carryover, but all in all, it's pretty much okay. And we've actually forced him into his Joachim, or Joachim, which is really, really good here. This is going to be overdose, painful, 12 points. It's a lot of points, that's a huge play. 41 to 62. So the question is, do we want to keep playing here, or do we just take our carryover and bail? I think we take our carryover and bail. I don't want to risk drawing a Nekker with my Toad Prince, so we can always play him on the next round after we've thinned the Nekker, and we're not more likely to draw something that, you know, we would want to eat. Worst comes to worst, we can also just eat this Nekker with the Toad Prince, and that's okay as well. Ghoul. What's in the graveyard? Infernal's in the graveyard, so Ghoul is a fine draw. And we'll just leave it at that. Not Infernal, Guardian. I always call him Infernal, because he looks like an Infernal, but he's not. He's a Guardian. So we have 13 points of carryover, and he has a lesser Guardian. Did he not mulligan? He only drew one card. This is... I guess maybe he... Oh, no, because did we not make the... We did the... No, we did the... I was going to say we did it last turn, but actually we did that play this turn. Let's go for... Should we go for Toad Prince and see what we pull? Let's go for Toad Prince and see what we pull. Seleno Harpy. Seleno Harpy's not great now. We could eat the Nekker. But actually, if we just eat the Seleno Harpy, it's a fine play. It means that also if he resets the units, they're not... It's not as big of an issue. Oh, Jesus. I think he's just given up at this point. Like, if I were him, I'd have given up at this point. And there's the game. So we send a GG. And this is the thing with this deck is, like, there are situations where you draw very badly, but it's not that common. And even if you happen to end up with, like, one Harpy in your hand, for example, it's still pretty much okay because, you know, one Harpy is not crazy bad. You can still thin quite successfully. And even if you don't get Woodland Spirit, you know, you can draw those Harpies out with Unseen Elder, with the Seleno Harpies. So you have a lot of options, and honestly, it's a very, very successful deck. I think I'm sitting at like, yeah, 16 and 5, and this is with a few iterations or a few changes, but, you know, I'm winning very consistently with the deck, so that's really good. But yeah, if you like this deck, hit that thumbs up button. Like I say, it was based on Freddybabes Gwent Open deck. This wasn't my own original idea, so shout outs to him. If you like the video, you can hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You can always watch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jaggerous. And you can also subscribe to the channel. You can find me on Twitter at Jaggerous. And if you want to see Freddybabes playing this deck, I do have my solo commentary for the Gwent Open on the channel for all 3 of his games. So if you want to see those, they're also on the channel, and you can see this deck handled by a professional. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!